Are you hungry?
Give me something good.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Görgött. We've done a lot of seafood lately, so it's time for some meat. More specifically, it's time to make a green pepper sauce with a piece of meat. Doesn't really matter which meat, it's about the sauce. It's probably my favorite sauce to go with meat. And it's simple, but it's really nice, and it's not spicy, but it has a certain heat to it, which I really enjoy. But before we have a look at the ingredients we need for today, do me the favor, if you're not doing so yet, please support the channel by clicking that subscribe button and checking the bell icon to get notifications. That would help me a lot. Now let's have a look at the board. So for today, I had a piece of basically bone-in tenderloin, bone-in fillet. But you can make this with any nice piece of beef. And I just have some rosemary and some garlic. For when you fry it with the butter, you baste it nicely, but we'll look at that later. But for the sauce, which is kind of the star of the show today, we need some veal stock, we need some white wine, some vinegar, some cream, butter, always salt, shallots, 2 tomatoes, and these, the green peppers. And these are the soft kind. It has to be the soft kind. So you can eat them like this. There's a nice kind of a sourness to them because they're pickled in vinegar, I guess, and a nice heat. But the first thing we need to do is to work on our tomatoes. We need to blanch them to get the peel off, and we need to chop them up. So we'll do that first. Then we'll chop up the shallots. And then we'll move over there, make the sauce. Then we'll stay there and make the meat. And then we'll plate, basically. That's it. It's not going to take that long today. But let's start with the tomatoes. So it's simple. All we need to do is to take the stalks off. You make a cross with your knife on both sides. And at the same time, I have water on the stove that's about to boil. And I'm also going to prepare a container of cold water. Ideally ice water, but ice cold water from the tap is enough as well. So let's wait for that to boil, and then we'll blanch them quickly. I prepared the bowl of cold water. The water is boiling there, so we'll just pop these 2 in. And this will take probably 30-40 seconds. And you can tell when it's done when the skin cracks. Transfer them into the cold water, and then I'll show you how to peel them. And the easiest way to peel is just with your hands. You can even leave them in the water. You see the peel comes off like that. So peel both of your tomatoes, and I'll see you in a couple of seconds. Both tomatoes are peeled. Now just put them into quarts. Cut off the seeds. I'll show you how to cut one. Just slice them up like this. And I would say we're looking for like 1/2 centimeter cubes. And then we put them just in a separate bowl for later for the sauce. So finish off your tomatoes like that, and then we'll just move over to the shallots. We finished our tomatoes, clean the board, and now we'll just do the shallots. We just want to chop them finely, so it's not much that I have to show you. Just do a fine chop on both of these shallots, and then something like that. And once you chop those shallots, we're ready to move over to the stove. So I'll see you there in a little bit. First thing we need to add is a good chunk of butter. The butter has melted. We can add the shallots. Now we don't want the shallots to color. That's a big piece there. Take that out. Just want them to go translucent. Give off their nice aroma. That's perfect. Now we can add our wine. Probably about a deciliter and a half. And we want to reduce this a bit now. And at the same time we can add in about a tablespoon of white wine vinegar. Reduce this for about maybe 2 minutes to get rid of all the alcohol taste. Not only the alcohol itself, because that disappears very quickly, but kind of the alcoholic taste. And then we're going to add our veal stock to this. And in goes our veal stock. About a deciliter and a half. And now we're going to reduce this as well. Now I prefer this sauce on the sour side. That's why I add the vinegar. If you want it more neutral, just leave the white wine vinegar out. Now we can switch tools, because the next thing that goes in is the cream. We're going to need a whisk for that. And now it's time for our cream. About 4 deciliters. And as always with cream, you need to be a little bit careful so it doesn't boil over. You want to reduce it a bit to get the right consistency, but you have to stay with it. And now, depending on if you want a lot of heat or little heat, you can add your green peppers. I quite like the heat, so we'll add them. And the longer they stay in the sauce, the more heat you get in the sauce. And you can see now, this is the point you need to be here for. But just keep whisking, adding cold air, and like that it's not going to boil over. And if you get too close to the edge, you can always lift the pan away from the heat. And that will go down quickly. I'll just show you quickly how quickly it goes down. Let's let it come up a bit more. And then you lift it a bit, and it goes down straight away. So you don't have to be worried, you just have to be there. Now you want the sauce to be quite powerful. So if you buy veal stock, they're normally not that powerful. So you might want to add like a stock cube or something even, just to really get the power into the sauce. You might be asking, has he forgotten the tomatoes? No, they go in just at the end because they don't need to boil with the sauce. They don't need to cook as such. It's nice if they have a bit of consistency to them. And we give it a taste. Perfect. A little bit of salt. Pinch. But maybe it's 2 pinches for you, you have to taste everything. Taste. And make it taste so that you like it. Because if you don't like it, what's the point, right? Stupid mistake. To save power, I turned off the camera in between and I forgot to turn it on when I added the tomatoes. But all I've done is to add tomatoes. And you can see it's cooled down now, so we're just warming up the tomatoes. I'm going to put the sauce in the oven to keep warm at around 50 degrees. And we'll continue with the meat. And for our beautiful piece of meat, we're just going to salt it. And I will put some pepper on there as well. So the steak has salt and pepper on both sides. The frying pan has oil in it. We're going to add butter later on, because otherwise the butter will burn. And we want this hot. And in we go. So one side seared. I'll turn it around so you can see it better. Now we're all different, right? So cook it to your own preference. I really like kind of medium rare, almost rare with filet. So we sear the other side as well. Now we turn it onto the bone. Grab your tongs so you can hold it, so that you get all sides. You can turn down the heat a little bit in preparation for the butter. Now it's time we add our rosemary in, a good chunk of butter, and our garlic that I just kind of pressed. And now you want to baste it. So you turn it and baste it on both sides. And this is rare now. I will leave it a little bit longer, and then we'll take it out and let it rest for at least 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. In my mind, this is perfect. So we'll take it out, let it rest, and then we'll cut it together in about 15 minutes. And while we were waiting for the meat to rest, I made some French fries. If you want to know how to make the crunchiest French fries, I'll put the link to it here, because I did the episode 4 or 5 weeks ago, something like that. Now, these are made with a potato variety that doesn't get very brown, but they're nice and crunchy. We're going to serve that together with the steak. But what we want to do is to cut the steak. Just cut it as close to the bone as you can. We'll put the bone there, and then we slice it up. And you can see, for me, nicely medium rare. Let's serve it up. But before we do so, if you stuck with me this far in the episode, there must have been something you enjoyed about my cooking or about the dish itself. So do me the favor, hit that thumbs up button below. It's really important for me to spread my content out there. So do me the favor. Now let's plate. So I like to kind of plate with the bone on there, so the guests see where the meat is coming from, like that. Now we move this just into the middle. Put our fries here. I just salted the fries, that's all I did. And now for our sauce, make sure you get a lot of green pepper, and we just pour it over. And you probably think to yourself, oh, that's a lot of sauce for one piece of meat. Yes, it is, but it's not only for this, it's for tonight for my whole family to eat, so I made enough. Now, doesn't that look beautiful? You can see it better from there than from there. Let's give it a try. Let's dig in. Good steak knife. This is so good. You get that heat of the green peppercorns, the kind of sweet sourness of the tomatoes. As I said, this works with a lot of different types of beef. And goes really well with French fries. probably one of my, if not the favorite sauce for beef. I really love it. I think it packs a little bit of a punch, which is nice. It needs to have a lot of taste, right? But yeah, that's it. It's relatively easy. Doesn't take too long. Well, the fries take a bit of time, but you can make them weeks in advance. Like these I made when I did the last episode, so they're left over from then. And that was 5 weeks ago. Tastes perfect still. You just do the last deep fat frying on the day that you serve them, just before you serve them. So all in all, relatively easy. Thank you for sticking with me. Before you go, if you haven't done so yet, do me the favor, support me by subscribing to the channel, hitting that bell icon, and leave a like and a comment. So hit the like button and leave me a comment. Thank you very much for this time. Take care. Bye-bye.